Hello!
Ahoy!
Welcome to the Bottom of the Stream movie show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. Welcome back to the world famous Bottom of the Stream podcast. And we are here. It's Thursday. You know what that means.
Movie show.
It is the movie show. So every week we will randomly select a movie from the Netflix stream because we're looking for some hidden gems.
We are. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. It's how we make our money. And
Yes.
yes, it is. This week, we were randomly chosen a movie. This is our penultimate episode of this season as well. Next week will be the finale. But this week, Robin randomly chose us a Swedish movie called Black Crab. Black Crab was released in 2022. It was a 15. It runs for 1 hour and 54 minutes and is currently rated at 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
Thoughts?
I feel like we're definitely in a range, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're in a similar area the last few weeks.
Yeah, we are definitely.
In terms of ratings.
It is also a Netflix original.
Okay.
This movie stars a lady that you will know. She is called Noomi Rapace.
I do know her.
And she has now been on this show 4 times. I feel like that's the most.
I don't know if it's the most, but it's
up there with the most.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's done 5.
Okay.
Somebody might have equaled 4. But
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's done 5. She plays Caroline
Edge.
Edge.
Yep.
It's EDH. So
Yeah.
it's like Edge, but without a G. It also stars a guy called Jakob Oftebro. He plays Nyland. Salim. He plays Malik. Eric Enger plays Granvik. And Ardalan Esmaili plays Karimi.
Well done.
Written by Adam Berg, Pelle Rodstrom, and Sabini Segal, and was based on a novel by Jakob.
Nice.
And was also directed by the aforementioned Adam Berg. Yeah, Swedish movie. Swedish. Shall I do the synopsis?
Yes, please.
Because it's according to IMDb, a Swedish action adventure drama sci-fi thriller war.
Where's the sci-fi in this movie? It's set. I presumed it's set a few years into the future.
Yeah,
But there's no
sci-fi.
There's no
in it.
sci-fi in this movie.
No.
Anyway, carry on.
There's not. It says, in a post-apocalyptic world, 6 soldiers on a covert mission must transport a mysterious package across a frozen archipelago. Noomi Rapace stars.
Yeah.
That is the synopsis. That's what it says. So, Nick, do you have a one-word review of Black Crab?
Are we the baddies?
It's a great one. It's a Mitchell and Webb quote. I like it. Yeah, it's never quite determined.
No.
I think I could say that about quite a lot of the plot in this movie, but we'll get to that as we go through, I guess. Where does this movie start, Nick?
There is a war or a conflict going on.
Yes.
We have got a mother and daughter trying to leave a city.
Yeah.
The sirens, smoke,
It's all sorts of shit.
things are on fire. This unnamed city, presumably in Sweden,
Yes, I assume so. The film's set there.
it's all kicking off.
Yeah.
And there's mass panic. People are trying to leave.
Yeah, the people running past
The
their
traffic's
cars.
not moving.
There's gunshots going off in the background.
And then there are shots
There.
close.
Somebody dies on their windscreen.
Yes.
It's like-
That was good.
that was good.
Good impact.
So the daughter, 15, 16
Yeah.
maybe?
Vanya.
Vanya. She wants to get out and run. Her mum says, no, stay in the car, hide in the back seat. So they basically
we're
hide
hunkering down.
under a blanket in the back seat. And then the last thing we see is somebody smashing the car window.
Yes.
And then the film cuts to its title card. And then we seem to have moved forward in time
Sure.
because we are now in what I would describe as a frozen post-apocalyptic world.
Yes.
But it's only frozen because we're in Sweden. It's not like
And it's winter. Yeah.
and it's winter. And there's a train full of people that has stopped at this base of operations.
Sure. And a guard throws open the door of this boxcar, I guess, on the back of this train, and one of the people in there is Caroline Ebb.
Yes, Noomi Rapace's character.
And I think at first you were supposed to think, as I did, oh my god, these prisoners, are they being,
what is happening?
Trainloads full of prisoners being brought into a camp obviously has
connotations.
Exactly.
Yes.
But that's not what these
happening.
people are.
So she is taken off by a soldier. She is told she has been given new orders.
Yeah.
Because she was expecting to go further south, I think.
Yeah.
And then the train leaves without her.
Yeah, so this is like a troop transport.
Yes, it is.
Kind of thing.
Or it seems to be. A lady, she then gets escorted off by a soldier. Before that happens, a lady gives her some food. She wants to know where her husband is. So she's like, if I give you this food, can you find out, get word to my husband, who's somewhere else, assumedly, in this camp. But Noomi, what are we calling her? We're calling her Caroline, we're calling her Eid. How are we referring to her through this movie?
Let's go Caroline.
Yeah, okay. Caroline says to this lady, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Wherever he is, he's not coming back. Head south.
Look after yourself.
Head south. She meets the lieutenant, and he is going to drive her to wherever she's going.
Yes, he says, I'm your assigned attaché, I guess.
Yeah.
I've got a vehicle.
Let's go.
Taking you to the base, and we're getting the orders.
Let's go. Let's get out of here. So they drive off.
This is Lieutenant Nyland.
Yes, it is. They drive off. It's established during their conversation during this journey that she's in her hometown.
Yeah, this is her home city, and it's a coincidence. It's her first time back for several years.
Yeah, it's the first time she's been there for a long time. And they're driving along, and then he suddenly just pulls over
into we're not in. I think. Well, it's kind of a war zone, so not that anywhere is, but this is particularly an unsavoury area of town, I think you would say.
So he pulls over, tells her to stay in the car.
He says, I've got to pick something up.
Yes. And gets out. He gets out, goes off into this building. She does not stay in the car.
Well, no, but to be fair, she's starting to be surrounded by people.
Yeah.
And I was kind of okay with this. Because she's obviously a trained soldier, so I'm guessing the thought process was, I'm stepping out of this car to ward these people off.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want them trying to loot the vehicle, I guess.
Exactly. People start shooting her, attacking her.
Yeah, it all goes to
escalates. So she shoots back. She kills some people.
Yep, she drops to the floor, doesn't she? She rolls under the vehicle and snipes a load of them. It was a good scene.
And the scene ends with her driving away. So she leaves Nyland.
Nyland's gone. He went into this building.
Never came back out.
He never came back out when all this firefight was going on.
Yeah. So she drives off, leaves him behind, and drives to the base where she was heading anyway. Yeah. When she gets there, she gets checked and she gets allowed in, and she gets told to wait in this room for the others.
Yeah.
And they're kind of they quickly come to the conclusion that they're being gathered for some sort of mission.
Yeah. So there's two chaps already there. One is basically the muscle.
Yes.
That's Malik.
Yeah.
And then a young kid, fresh out of army school.
Yes. Granvik.
Yes, Granvik and Malik. And then they are soon joined by a third guy.
Yes.
Karimi. Who is a bit more panicked than the other three.
Yes, he's been evacuated from a base that he was living at.
Yeah.
With his girlfriend.
But his girlfriend's still there, so he's kind of lost contact with her. So
yeah. They then get called into the room to meet Colonel Arad.
Yeah.
He calls for them. The four of them go in.
And the first thing he says is, there's one missing.
Yeah. And there's a captain, lady captain. And she says, oh yeah, he hasn't arrived.
Yeah.
So basically, they're told at this point, they're given like their mission briefing now. And they're told...
well, the commander says to the captain, you lead the briefing.
Yeah.
Don't... And he says, be honest.
Yeah, don't
give him the official version. Give them the real version.
So some of their key sites have been bombed. I think it was like 3 or 4 different
So their major
sites.
bases... Yeah, basically they're on the verge... Their side is on the verge of losing this war.
Yeah, she physically says that. She says, a few sites have been bombed. The enemy are only a few days away from here, and we are about to lose this war. This is the end. But we do have one last option. It could change everything and even end the war.
Yeah.
And that's what these people have been gathered here for, because for the first time in 37 years, the archipelago is covered in ice.
Yeah, there's an ice bridge.
There's an ice bridge which will lead them behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
Which is otherwise inaccessible if there wasn't this ice bridge. The ice is not thick enough to support an army transport or a tank or any sort of vehicle. It can only support a soldier on ice skates.
Yeah.
Is what this captain tells them. And this mission is being labelled Black Crab.
It is.
because they need to skate across an archipelago.
And they have to transport the packages
to
a research facility.
There are 2 capsules that must get there no matter what.
Yeah.
To this thing, and then if you succeed, we will win this war. You
and
can leave the army, and you can do whatever you want with
commander,
your life.
Yeah, the commander basically says, you get these capsules to that research facility, you go your own way.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Caroline
laughs.
She does. She's very dismissive of this. She says 100 miles on skates on sea ice in the dark behind enemy lines is a suicide mission.
Yeah.
There is no way this can be done. And the captain responds with, this is not a request, this is an order.
Yeah. And then he says, only one of you needs to make it.
Yeah, he says that after he dismisses them all, doesn't he? And
yeah.
They all go out and he keeps her behind. And he says, look, it doesn't matter if everyone gets there. The capsules need to get there. It kind of implies you're the best one.
Yeah.
You need to get there. And then he gives her some incentive to get there.
Yes, because she's still wavering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, we have found your daughter.
Yeah.
She is in this refugee camp, which
behind enemy
coincidentally
lines.
is in this city.
It's on the same island as the research facility. Yeah.
And without even a blink of an eye, her whole directive changes. She accepts this mission. She will 100% put
He's even got a photo of Vanya. Sort of huddled around a fire in the refugee camp.
Undisclosed how much time has passed between these two saw each other.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever find out the timeline of this movie.
No, we don't.
I don't think we do. We don't even ever find out who they're fighting.
The commander says, I bet she looks older than
she did. Yeah.
So
some time has definitely passed, but we just don't know. We never even find out who the two warring sides are.
I kind of liked that wasn't filled in because I think
there's a lot of gaps in this.
It is, but that kind of helped add to which I'm sure we'll come on to, the greyness of look, arguably there's no right side in war, but
are we the good guys or the bad guys?
That is really
one-word review.
Yeah, and that is expanded on in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one way to do that is by not giving us any information on what this conflict is, why it is, who it's. Yeah, is it a civil war? Is it a world war?
We are given.
Don't have any.
We are
of that
given
info.
this mission, and that is it. We have given no other info on anything.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole movie, we don't know time periods. Like we say, we don't even really know where we are.
Yeah.
She agrees to the mission without even thinking about it. Since the daughter's on the table, she then leaves the room and breaks down. She comes with a bit of a cry outside, and she goes to reunite with the rest of the team. Yeah.
Carry Me now doesn't want to go.
Yeah,
he's now the vocal.
This is an stupid. Impossible mission. She manages to talk them around though, because she's had her mind changed and manages to talk them into it. And they all eventually agree to go. So at this point, we know of 4 people that are going.
Yeah.
It ends up with more, but we'll come to that in a minute. And then they have a bit of a conversation about what they'll do when they leave the army and what they're going to do when they get out. And
it's them sort of bonding, and then all their kit gets delivered.
Yeah, the captain lady brings all their gear in.
Forsberg, I think it was Captain.
So these guys have all been chosen because they're experienced ice skaters.
They can skate.
I think one's a hockey
Malik's
player.
like a hockey player. Someone was a speed skater.
Yeah, and so that's why these particular soldiers have been chosen. And they are due to leave tomorrow before dusk. So they're going to travel by night. Then we get the first kind of flashback for this movie. I guess the first scene is a flashback as well. But and basically it's a flashback to Caroline and Vanya spending some time together. Yeah. She's washing her hair. Presumably after this war's broken out.
No, I thought this was the moment because as she's washing her hair, there's explosions and Vanya's like, what's that? So I kind of presume this is when the first time the bombs landed.
So it's literally just before the car ride. Because if
no, I don't know if it was just before the car ride, but I think this was showing us this is what they were doing at the point this conflict started.
Yeah, presumably then they got in the car and tried to leave. Well, the same day at least. Maybe. Who knows? Like we said, we're not given any info on timelines. There is explosions in this flashback, and the explosions are part of it. It's a dream.
They echo through
time,
the
basically.
Real
and they wake up
timeline.
To explosions going on around
the base is being attacked.
The base is
already.
Attacked. So they need to go. The timeline has been brought forward. They need to get on the ice now. So Rob comes out. He gives them the 2 canisters. He's like, whatever you do, these need to get to where they're going, and you must not open them under any circumstances.
And he says, Captain Forsberg's in charge.
Yep, she's coming with you.
Yeah.
And so is this guy.
Yeah.
And this is Nyland.
He's back from his
wherever he went to earlier on.
In that building.
Which doesn't please Caroline very much.
No.
She is... She's pretty angry that the guy who deserted her is now going to be on her team.
But there's no time to worry about that now because things are exploding all around them.
Yes.
So they have to get out into the forest, make their way. And can I just say, by the way, this was shot brilliantly. So they're out into the wilds. It's dark. There's gunfire. There's orange explosions all around them. It was just shot really well.
It was shot like a war movie.
Yeah.
And it's not really a war movie. It's just one mission going on in the background. What I want to say at this point as well, while we've stopped, is the dub of this movie. This movie's in Swedish.
Okay, yeah, I watched with subtitles.
Yeah, the English dub of this movie is fantastic.
Oh, really?
It's really good. It's one of the best dubs I've ever seen, I think.
Oh, nice.
Because I got about halfway through and I was like, shit, this isn't even an English movie. The acting felt natural.
Cool.
Which it doesn't always happen in a dub.
Do you know if it was dubbed by Rapace? I
don't know that, to be honest.
That'd be interesting.
I would imagine she would probably have done it herself. I don't know about anybody else.
Okay.
But yeah, it just felt right. And some dubs just don't. But this one I wouldn't have even known it wasn't an English film.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really, really good dub. Anyway, they get on the ice. The base is not far away from where this ice archipelago starts. And they skate off into the darkness.
They do. And it is dark.
It is dark. This whole movie's dark. And the first,
But having said it is dark, but it didn't have the issue that a lot of dark movies have that we watch, in that I couldn't see what was going on.
There's always reflections off the ice.
Yeah.
And you can always see what's going on. The first thing they come across is a border. They call it the border. And they 3 miles till they can find somewhere to camp for the night.
Yeah, it's basically the crossing point into enemy territory.
Yeah. So they need to find a camp because obviously they're going to sleep through the day and skate for overnight.
Although the sun's already coming up. But I guess they were
3 miles on ice skates is not going to take you very long.
And they left quickly when they weren't.
They left at the wrong time.
So,
yeah, they left a day early. Just as they realise this, there's a cracking noise, which is not something you want to hear on ice. And then suddenly the captain is under the water.
Yes, she's gone.
She just disappears under the water. There's an issue.
She's got the capsules.
She's in charge.
Yeah.
She's got the capsules. And they don't know what to do because she's about to drown. So Caroline doesn't even give it any thought whatsoever and just dives in the hole.
Yeah.
And swims down to where the captain's sinking.
Instantly, or seemingly instantly, decides, I'm not saving this woman.
Yeah.
She's a goner.
The capsules are the most important thing.
Yeah.
So it looked like the captain might have already been dead, but
it did look like that.
I don't think she was.
We saw them side on.
Yes.
Caroline's sort of behind the captain.
Yeah, she didn't even make any attempt to rescue the captain. She ripped the rucksack off the captain's back and then swam back to the surface. The captain dies at this point. She then has obviously been in ice cold water, so this has pushed up their need to get to a camp quicker.
Yeah.
So they strip off all her wet clothes and try and keep her warm. They wrap her in blankets and stuff. And they find some solid land, which
they do
handily has a building on it.
It does.
Which they use to make shelter. So they go inside. They start a fire in the fireplace.
But we see the process of we've got to get her warm. She's a goner as well.
They need to get warm. They sit her in front of the fire. They wrap her all up in blankets.
And the plan is to basically hole up here till dark.
Till the next night. Yeah. But what we need to do is figure out who's in charge now.
Yeah,
so the captain's dead.
Caroline and Nyland get in an argument pretty quickly about who should be in charge.
Caroline's taken control of this mission from the start.
And she
is not the highest ranking officer there.
No, and I think she kind of was until
Nyland
and the captain were suddenly
thrust
to join the mission.
So she's not happy that she is not going to be taking charge, but Nyland outranks her.
Yes.
And
Malik says, well,
that's the end of the argument. Nyland is a higher ranked officer here.
Nyland also does get in an absolute barb when he says during the argument to Caroline, you left the captain just like you left me for dead.
Yes. It felt more like he'd left her for dead, but when you look at it from his perspective, He just went off somewhere, and then she drove off.
Well, and that's what I mean about the greyness in this film, because she did drive off and leave him.
Yeah.
But we never see the other side, so we don't know
why
he stopped,
was doing. Yeah.
What he was doing in this area of the city, what he was doing in that building.
Yeah. We never find that out.
No.
So the film's framed like, oh, he's abandoned her. She needs to survive. She needs to drive off on her own. But from his perspective, she's abandoned him.
Yeah.
So like you say, it's all grey areas, isn't it? And we then get another flashback. She's kind of scavenging with her daughter. They're going through car boots and cars. But she wakes up when she hears a noise. So the flashbacks are dreams because she always wakes up after a flashback. And she hears a noise in the distance, and it is a helicopter. And she goes outside, and when she's outside, Karimi's out there on the radio.
Yeah.
Because he's like the radio guy.
Yeah.
And then as she sees him talking into the radio, a helicopter comes over
the horizon. Yeah.
So she feels like
they scramble,
he's fucked them over,
and that's again from her perspective. That's how this is moved. Yeah. This is filmed. Like, has he shopped them in?
Has he shopped them in? Yeah. So she goes to wake all the others up. They manage to escape.
We've got to get out. There's a chopper come in.
Yeah. They leave. They go and hide in the woods, and the chopper blows up the building. Literally drops a bomb on the building, and then flies off.
So they're all then having this whispered argument or accusations with Karimi and saying, "Who were you on the radio to? Did you call them in?" And
they're accusing
the
him.
Cracks are showing in this team already.
And he's denying it. He's like, "I was just trying to contact my girlfriend who was in this bombed."
Yeah, she was back at base 28
or something like that.
And then they quickly have to shut up because
some foot soldiers go.
Foot soldiers are looking for either their remains or them themselves.
They disappear, and they decide that Nyland. Caroline gives Nyland the decision. He's like, "What do we do with Karimi? You're the ranking officer here. Does he live, or do we kill him? What do we do?" So Nyland chooses Karimi can live, but he goes unarmed from this point onwards. Yeah. It's never allowed.
And he assigns Malik to
look after him,
babysit him, basically.
Yeah. So they get back on the ice. They're going to do a bit more skating.
They've travelled a lot in the daytime. Considering they were never going to travel in the daytime. Yeah. And Malik calls it out, to be fair. He says, "Look, we're exposed. We're on the ice. We're in the middle of the sea.
We can be seen for miles on this ice." And then suddenly, one of them tripped and went flying across the ice. I remember, was it Karimi? One of them tripped.
It was Karimi or it was Granvik. I'm not sure which one it was.
One of them went flying, and they're like...
And all the time when they're travelling as well, you hear the creaking of the ice.
The ice is always creaking or popping.
Yeah.
And then as he falls, we kind of look down, and there's bodies under the ice.
Yeah, and
not just a few bodies, a lot of bodies.
Yeah,
hundreds of bodies.
So you'll have a foot sticking out.
Yeah, or half a head sticking out.
And this is what he tripped over.
Yeah, he tripped over a person, or a partially frozen person.
And the camera pans back, and there's tens and tens of these bodies.
Hundreds of these bodies.
It's a great shot.
It's a really, really good shot. And then, so they kind of work themselves through it.
They weave through all
these partially submerged bodies,
jutting out body parts.
And then they discuss they get to this like place where they can stop, and they discuss what it might have been.
Yeah.
So one of them says, "Oh, it's probably like a lifeboat wreck," and then somebody else is like, "No, these are people that were floating in the water and have just frozen to death. Or, there's too many for a lifeboat." It goes on. Then the helicopter flies over again and starts shooting at them.
Yeah,
they've been spotted. So they.
But
madly
it does a first pass with its searchlight on, doesn't it? But quickly a couple of them are caught in the searchlight, and it immediately opens fire.
Starts firing at them. Always misses, and Caroline manages to hide under a jetty.
Yeah.
So they're obviously at the side of an island somewhere. And then
one by one she's joined by
the rest of them until Karimi doesn't show up, and he does.
And again they're like, "Oh, is he done one?"
Again.
Yeah.
But no, he turns up. He was just hiding somewhere else. So they're like, right, we need to get off the ice for us. So what we'll do, we're obviously on an island now, or at an island.
Yeah.
We'll walk.
Find somewhere to camp.
We'll walk across the island and get back on the ice on the other side. So we're off the ice. Then they come across another building.
Yeah. Like a barn at first, I thought.
Yeah. And so they go in. And when they get in there, there's an old couple inside.
Yeah.
Who just live there. They live on this island. They managed to hide from the evacuation order.
Yeah, they didn't want to leave the island. They didn't want to evacuate. They were the last two people on this small island.
Yeah.
It's an old couple.
At this
point, so they sit down and break bread.
Yeah, literally have some food with them. They share the food.
And I was like, I almost had to pause it here and double check what I was hearing and seeing. So this is a Swedish movie.
Yep.
Starring Swedish people.
Yes.
Swedish director.
Yep.
Set in Sweden.
Yep.
And they literally ran the dinner table talk about furniture.
They do.
And I was like, is this
is it like a joke going on here? Yeah, they do. They talk about the different seatings and people who
because Malik's like, turns out one of his hobby is antiques and furniture design, and it just made me laugh.
I hadn't picked up on that, but it is very strange now you mentioned it. And while they're eating dinner, Caroline drops something on the floor.
Drops a fork or a knife.
So she bends down to pick it up. And while she's down there, she spots that under the table is a gun.
Yeah, the old man's got a gun strapped under the table,
pointed at Malik.
Well, Malik and Karimi are directly opposite him. Right? So Caroline snaps up, pulls her gun.
Yeah.
But the old man fires.
He does, and there's a big shootout going on now.
Yeah. She kills the old man. The old woman...
She dies in the crossfire. She gets shot.
It was a good scene.
Yep.
Manic, it was.
And then they're like, oh, everyone's okay. And they're like, no, Karimi is very dead.
Yeah, Granvik of Nyland's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, we're okay, but nobody's been shot. We're good. And then they turn Karimi over, and he's not alive anymore.
He's shot through the eye.
He's very much dead.
Malik got a hit as well, but he's like, oh, it's just a scratch. I'm fine.
No worries. Just at that point, the radio that Karimi was carrying goes off.
Yep.
And it's his girlfriend trying to get hold of him.
Yeah, I'm basically saying I'm returning his call.
Yeah, basically. It couldn't have picked a worse time. So Nyland basically says, oh, he can't come to the phone right now. And then he turns the radio off. So they can't have it.
Yeah, he'll have to get back to you another time.
What is interesting, though, is that she said that she called from base F-28.
Yeah. Which
was supposed to be bombed to death. There was not supposed to be anybody there. Which puts into doubt their entire mission.
It does.
They have been told that these places have been bombed, and that place clearly hasn't been. So they leave Karimi's body with the old people, and they get back on the ice. So they escape for a little bit, and then Malik goes down. And it turns out he has got a little bit more than a scratch on him.
Yeah, he's gushing from his stomach.
Very much gushing from his stomach. He says he's fine. He clearly is not fine.
But he still refuses help.
Yeah. So Caroline skates off into the distance a little bit, and she comes back, and she's like, I found something. It's only a few kilometres away. Can you get there? To Malik? And he's like, yep, we can do it. And they get what I originally thought was another building, but it turns out it was a ship.
Yeah, it's like a frozen passenger ferry.
It seemed to be. It was massive, great big ship thing with loads of cars on. So they get
it's frozen into the
ice. Yeah, it looked like it partially sunk. It was very much damaged, but it was frozen in the ice. So they get Malik there. They try and help him out a little bit.
They try to set up camp. I don't know if it was like a lounge, wasn't it? Like a cafe or lounge, and
it doesn't quite work for them. So they're like, Nyland and Caroline have the conversation of, right, we need to leave. He's
starting to slow us down.
Yeah, we need to leave him. We need to leave him here. We'll send somebody back for him
with supplies, and we'll leave him with some supplies and then we need to complete the message, and we'll send someone back.
Granvik's not up for this.
He's like, we can't leave someone behind.
We're still reeling over the loss of Karimi.
And remember, Granvik's sort of the youngest.
Yeah, he's the young buck of the team.
Maybe a bit naive.
He's probably only early 20s.
Yeah.
And he's managed to get the capsules.
I think he nabbed it out of Caroline's rucksack.
And
he's like, it's not worth it. It's not. We've already lost
these are,
most people. We're not leaving Malik. It's not worth it. And he opens the capsule. He's like, I'm going to see what's all the fuss about.
And inside, we are told by the two of us that what is inside is a virus, which is also a bioweapon. I
mean, it has got biohazard stuck all over it.
It has.
So, they are transporting effectively a biological weapon. Yeah.
And I think it's Nyland that says, look, this is not the end of the war. This is the end of everything.
Yeah.
This is if we deliver this could be the end of everything. So Caroline's like, well, this is our mission. We still need to deliver it.
Yeah.
I'm on board with this mission. So we need to go and secure the ship, and we'll bunker down here for the night, for the day.
They leave Malik
propped
up. We've got him sort of comfortable-ish. The other three, she says, right, we fan out, we secure the ship.
Yeah.
Meet back here.
So she goes off out onto deck to see what she can see in the distance, and she does spot a light in the distance.
Yeah.
So she goes in to warn the others.
Says something's coming this way.
Yes. And when she gets there, Malik is no longer with us.
No.
He has shot himself in the head.
He has.
Which has made up Granvik's mind that, okay, well, there's no point staying here now, at least.
And Caroline says, well, I'm off then.
Yeah, we need to go.
She says, I'm going now.
Yeah, if you two come or not.
Yeah.
That's up to you, but I'm going with these capsules. So she does. She skates off on her own. And she skates instantly. Within sight of the ship, she skates onto some very thin ice.
Yes.
And it starts cracking all around her. So she hits the deck. She makes herself big, which is what you're supposed to do on cracking ice. Lie down and starfish out.
Yeah, she's lying in a bit of a puddle of
water, but the ice is cracking all around her. So she's basically stranded. She can't do anything. Yeah. But luckily, Nyland and Granvik did decide to follow her anyway.
Yeah.
But Nyland pulls the gun on her, and he says, "Throw me the capsules."
Yeah.
Because if you're going under, I ain't getting in that water.
Yeah.
So she does. She knows the mission better than anybody. She throws him the capsules, and then she says, "Throw me a line." And she gets the line. They pull her to safety.
They do. They pull her off.
And
then it cuts to them all roped together.
Yeah, because she says...
Proceeding over... She says
ice
this
is
goes
dangerous,
on for miles.
but we do have to cross it.
Yeah.
We have no choice. We do have to cross it. So they've tied themselves together, and they're going to skate over this thin
Trying
ice.
to keep low and skate.
Yeah, skate slowly. Fast. I think they were trying to go fast.
Fast but low.
Yeah. And then a flare lights up the night sky.
Yeah.
And lights them up perfectly, and there's nothing they can do. They can't pull their weapons. They can't stop.
They have to. They kind of
stranded.
They quickly have to. They kind of repeat the rope thing with Granvik, don't they?
Yeah, he falls at some one point.
He's in a similar situation, but yeah, then suddenly a flare lights up the sky, and then gunfire
over their heads,
strafes over their heads.
So they're like, They're not shooting at us.
Yeah,
they're shooting at whoever's over the other side.
And then
they've not seen us. And then suddenly
they're being shot
at quite heavily. But luckily, Granvik, which I don't think we knew before, is a sniper.
That is his raison d'etre on this team, I guess.
He has a sniper rifle with him, and he is a trained sniper. So he figures out there's only one shooter in the direction we're going.
Yeah.
There's only one.
He says he can see one shooter and two other soldiers, I think.
But there's only one person shooting.
Yeah.
So Nyland gives him a range, and he sets his gun up. He takes one shot, and the shooting stops.
Yeah.
He instantly kills the guy. So Carolyn goes on ahead. She goes on to check, make sure everybody's good. It turns out Granvik is a fucking great shot because he has blown a hole in this guy's face right in the middle. It's such a really good shot.
But she notes the other two soldiers that he saw
are dead.
They're dead and have been for some time.
Yeah, they're frozen to death. He was the last surviving guy, making one last stand, I guess. So they all head up to this. It was like a bunker, wasn't it? It was like a lookout on the edge of an island where this guy was shooting from. So they make camp again. All they do is make camp. They make camp again in this bunker.
Light a fire.
Yeah. Granvik tells their story about how he got into the war.
So when he was younger, he was forced to hide under a pile of bodies.
Yeah, so his school was being massacred or something along those lines.
And all he can remember is he hid under there for what he thought was days.
Yeah.
And to the point where the rats were surrounding him and eating the bodies around him, which he was amongst.
Yeah.
And he says, I signed up the next day to fight.
Yeah. He was like, that's when he signed up to be in this war. They then realise that the person who's very keen to get this job done is Caroline. So they ask her, what is her motivation? Why are you so desperate to get this mission successful?
Yeah.
But she doesn't answer. We know it's because of her daughter, but she does not tell them that. They then sleep
and
under...
she says, as they're starting to debate the morals of now they know what this,
it is, should they still deliver it?
Yeah, the capsules are. She says it's not our job to worry about it.
Yeah.
Our job is to deliver them.
Yeah. They then fall asleep under a beautiful shot of the Aurora Borealis.
They do.
Beautiful. And there's another flashback / dream.
This localized in my kitchen.
Okay.
It's a Simpsons reference. Fine.
I didn't get it, but that's fine. She has another dream / flashback. And it's basically her daughter telling her to wake up.
Yeah.
And this is her daughter telling her to wake up because they're coming. And she wakes up And they're right. Their daughter was right. They are coming.
Nyland's gone.
Nyland's gone.
Suddenly they are under fire.
Yes. Granvik and Carolyn are the only two left, and they're under fire. So she wakes him up. She gets shot at. There's a big gunfight going on.
So they have the higher ground, but basically there are, I think Granvik says, I think there's about 10 of them.
Yeah.
Making their way up this hill towards them.
He's a sniper. He's not good with close range shooting.
Also, it's snowy, and all the way through this movie, by the way, whenever we've seen, I won't say enemy, opposition soldiers, they're all clad in white.
Yes, they are.
Which you might say that's a snow thing.
Yeah.
Because it's camouflage. But is it something else?
Could be. Who knows? So they do. There's this massive gunfight that goes on now. It's really good, actually.
It is good action sequence.
As one's going up shooting, the other one's taking stock of where they are. So they're always telling each other where to shoot at, and it eventually ends with them all taking out the bad guys.
But they haven't got much ammo.
No.
So by the last couple, they're really running low.
Carolyn pulls a grenade. They've got one grenade left, which Carolyn pulls. But as she pulls it, she gets shot in the chest.
Yes.
And drops it. And so then she starts screaming grenade, grenade to get Granvik away. And he dives on it.
He does.
To save her. And he is blown up.
She's the only one left.
She is the only one left. Nyland's disappeared. We don't know where he's gone.
Oh, and he's took the capsules.
She cries with Granvik's body in her arms.
Yeah.
The capsules have gone with Nyland. Yeah. So she's like, I'm just going to try and catch up with him. She knows where he's going. He's going to go and
she works out which direction he's gone in. Yeah, he's not gone back.
But she knows he's not in a good place with delivering these capsules, and she is. So she gets back on the ice alone and
injured.
Quite quickly catches up with him.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a head start he had, but it seemed like a long time.
And he won't stop. She shouts, stop.
Yeah, he's screaming back at her that he's not going to stop. They start shooting at each other.
Yeah.
And then he skates off and she takes him down. She shoots him in the back.
She uses the sniper rifle.
Yeah, she does. He's now lying in a pool of his own blood on the ice. She goes up to him. She's like, he wants to destroy the capsules.
Yeah, he says,
the ocean is just there.
I'm going to destroy them.
So I'm going to throw them in the ocean. And that'll be the end of it. Because we cannot let this virus out.
Yeah.
It may end the war, but it will also end mankind. And he begs her. He's in a bad way. He's dying now. She shot him. And he's like begging her not to take them.
Yeah.
As he's dying, but she just takes them.
Was this a bit quick? His growth of a conscience?
I think it
kind of touched on the conversation they'd had around the campfire the night before.
I think it came to them when they realised what it was. And then I guess you've got a day and a bit to work with that.
By design, I think so much of Nyland's character is off screen.
Yeah.
Because of the reasons we spoke about them wanting to have these sort of shades of grey. The flip side of that for me was like I wasn't as invested in him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But
I think it's the human reaction to, are we going to end humanity? No, let's destroy this virus. Fuck the war. So I think his reaction is right. But you're right, maybe it did come too quick.
But she leaves it. She takes the capsules and she leaves them for dead.
She skates off into the...
Barely skates off.
Yeah, she's in a bad way. Then the next time we see her, she's in a bit of a whiteout. It's snowing. There's ice everywhere. She can't see where she's going.
She hears Vanya talking to her a bit like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah,
Granvik's voice is in there as well a little bit. There's she's getting haunted by all the death around her. And then two people on horses approach her.
Yeah, and we can hear like horns going in the background.
Yeah. And so that's the point where she kind of blacks out.
And they say to her, black.
Yeah.
And she has to say crab. So they know this is obviously the destination.
Yeah, she's arrived. As she blacks out, we get put into another flashback, which is right back to the start of the film, where she's hiding in the car with her daughter.
Yeah. And Vanya is taken.
Yeah, the window is smashed, which is the furthest we've seen. But then the daughter gets dragged away, and they kind of split away from each other.
Yeah.
At that point, and I think the film's implying they've never seen each other since.
Yeah, I agree.
She then wakes up in hospital. She's all bandaged up. She's got a drip in her arm. Her hands are all bandaged up. Her face is all bandaged up.
Also, I just wanted to briefly reference, because we haven't done this so far, the absolute state of the perm that Noomi Rapace has to
awful.
Have in this movie.
Her haircut is not good. Not good at all. But yeah, she wakes up in hospital. She tries to get out of the bed. She instantly falls to the floor. She's in a bit of a state of... She's covered in bandages. And she gets taken back to bed by a doctor.
Yeah.
And he says, you ain't going to be able to walk for a while, love. You had a gunshot wound to your belly. He says the word belly in the dub.
No, he said, I've got belly.
Have you got belly as well? And you've had 3 toes amputated.
Yeah.
So that's why she couldn't stand up when she got up.
Yeah, sure.
Got no feet left. And he's like, but we need to take you to see...
The commander wants to see you.
The Admiral, I think she was.
Admiral.
So whenever you're fit to go, we'll go. So they go straight away.
They put her in a wheelchair.
They
and
do.
I have put at this point, are we the baddies? Because I don't think it's very subtle here.
No.
Their uniform, now that we are off
the
the
ice... Yeah, she
keeps
keeps putting a new uniform. Everybody's back in uniform.
Back on base.
Yeah.
It's very Nazi-like.
It is. It is very. Yes. Yeah. I think the film's deliberately done this. We're not supposed to know which side we're on.
Yeah.
But they're giving us...
For me, that was kind of the little twist. Not, again, it doesn't knock you over the head with it, but my takeaway was, these aren't the good guys.
Yeah.
If there can be a good
side in war.
Yeah.
So anyway, she goes to see the Admiral. When she gets there, Nyland is there. He's also been bandaged up.
He's in a sling.
Yep. And the Admiral instantly promotes her to second lieutenant.
Yeah, she said,
you are a hero.
Yeah.
Here is the National Medal of Courage and also the Medal of Honor. She gets given 2 medals. Yeah. Nyland gets given them as well because they have completed the mission that they were given.
Yeah.
They are now free to leave the army, I guess, if they want to. The mission is over. And
no one seems to ask any questions of like why was Nyland shot?
Yeah.
And to be fair, Caroline doesn't. At no point does she shop him in terms of this guy was going to destroy these capsules.
Nobody at this point asked the question of where are the capsules.
But I presume they've already.
As in Caroline doesn't ask the question of
where
are the capsules.
Okay. Yeah.
But what she does ask is, where is my daughter?
Yeah, I was told she was on a camp here.
She was here. And the Admiral says, let's talk about it later.
Yeah.
And Caroline says, no, let's talk about it now. And it turns out, well, the Admiral says, you needed to be motivated to do this mission.
Hope.
Your daughter is not here and has never been here.
Yeah. We couldn't locate her or something like that. And then how fast does Caroline leap at the Admiral?
Leaps at the Admiral, smashes her in the face.
Yeah.
Beats her to the floor. She's beaten her to the floor and beaten her up before anybody reacts.
Yeah.
It's instant. And then, so they pull her off. Nyland kind of holds her back as she's like screaming in pure agony. She's in agony.
Comforting her.
The doctor then tells her off. He says, look, you need to rest. You've had quite traumatic surgery. You've lost a few toes.
Yeah, back in the med bay, he's like, if you've got stitches, you've been shot, you need to rest, otherwise you're going to lose fingers.
Yeah.
We're not out of the woods, basically.
Yeah, you're in a bad way still. But while he's talking, she steals a scalpel from his table.
Yeah.
So she doesn't rest. She goes to see Nyland. She goes to visit him. And she's saying, I don't know where these capsules are, but we need to destroy them.
She says, you were right.
You were right.
We can't trust
these people.
Here.
We need to destroy these capsules. And he's like...
Nyland's like, well,
we could have done that. We had that opportunity. You've missed that boat. We've missed that boat. We've got no chance now. We don't even know where they are.
And then somehow he's quite an expert suddenly in biological weapons because she's like, well, have they used them yet? And Nyland's like, oh, no. They won't have had chance to weaponize it and test it.
Yeah.
And they'll be here somewhere on base.
Yeah, they're here somewhere, but we just need to find out why. So they go off together to try and find a lab.
She convinces him to...
let's
she's
at least
basically
try.
like, what have we got to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Let's at least try. So they approach what appears to be the youngest, most low-ranking soldier in the world to ask them...
None of this would have worked.
No. And they say to him, where's the lab? And he's like, oh, I can show you where the lab is if you want.
The captain, because Nyland's like, I'm a captain, escort us to the lab.
Yeah. So this guy, this young lad, escorts him to a lift.
Yeah.
And says, it's on the 5th floor of this base. And then they try and use the lift. The buttons don't work because he hasn't got a badge. And the guy's like, oh, you need your badge. So he just nicks the badge off this guy. He does not react at all.
No.
And they get up to the 5th floor. When they get to
it
the
was
5th floor,
clunky, wasn't it, this bit? Really clunky.
Yeah, I think the whole end of this film is a little bit clunky. When they get to the 5th floor, this lab is being protected by 2 guards who are not paying attention at all.
They do challenge them slightly because they're like,
I don't
Captain,
care if you're captain,
if you've not got access card permission for here, we can't let you in.
And he's like, don't you know who I am? I'm the hero that's brought.
So one of us like, I'll check the list.
Yeah, and they don't have a chance to check the list because Caroline stabs them in the neck with a scalpel that she stole earlier. So she takes out 2 guards. Then they go into the lab.
Oh, they nab a grenade off one of their belts.
They do,
as well. That's important for later.
They go in, and there's 2 scientists in this room who they hold at gunpoint and make them take them to the capsules.
And these are caricature scientists because one of them is like, I'm not taking you, traitors.
Yeah.
How dare? And the other one just immediately folds and is like, I'll take you, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
And the other one doesn't protest either. She does protest, but she doesn't do anything about it.
But because that's because she gets shot in the hand, and then
she does get shot in the hand.
She shouts up and raises the alarm, I presume, after them.
So
she's shouting, traitors, traitors.
So they do get taken to this room where these 2 capsules are being stored.
And bloody hell, this is where the budget for this war's going on. They've got full on high tech lab here.
Yeah, they've got a full on high tech there's like glass roofs.
Like an X-Men.
Yeah, it is.
Super base, this is.
Yeah. So they get the 2 capsules and they're like, and Caroline's like, right, well, we'll just blow this grenade up then in this room.
And the scientist is like, no, you fucking won't.
No, you can't do that.
You're going to infect everyone.
Yeah, if you do that, you'll infect the whole base because the virus will escape and everybody will be fucked. So he says, don't do that. He said, what you need to do is pull this evacuation lever because there's guards coming for them now. So, but if you pull that evacuation lever, all of that will stop. And they'll stop chasing you. They'll just be keen on getting off the island because the evacuation lever's been pulled. And I'm like...
And they pull the oldest trick in the book. So they put on hazmat suits and just walk out unnoticed.
There was lots of guards coming.
Yeah.
And as soon as these guards heard this alarm, they stopped. Presumably, we don't see it, but presumably they stopped and were like, oh, we need to leave.
And they didn't bother. There was no checkpoint of checking people leaving in this evacuation. No. Take your hazmat off because we need to see if it's one of these 2.
Into this lift, and then they're climbing up these stairs, and Caroline's like, her stitches have split. She's bleeding. She's dying. So Nyland's carrying her up these stairs, and they end up with just the 2 of them. I don't know where everybody else went, and it looks like they're canoodling in this corner.
But then the fire marshal comes past and he's like, come on,
you 2, stop canoodling.
We've got to get up to the muster
point. They've got any masks on or anything at this point, and they're the 2 heroes that have just been hailed by everybody. And so Nyland basically carries her outside to where these massive helicopters are taking people off this island. And he leaves her then on the side of this helipad to go and find if there's 2 spare seats on a helicopter somewhere. That's his actual words. Rather than just getting on a helicopter. And whilst he's left her, all the guards figure out who she is. Yeah. And then the Admiral's there and she figures out who she is.
And at some point they've had time to gaffer tape the 2 vials of virus
to the grenade.
To the side of this grenade.
Yeah. So the Admiral's trying to convince her to... She's holding this grenade in the air with the 2 vials of virus on.
Yeah.
And the Admiral's trying to convince her not to do it. And she's kind of backing... Caroline's trying to back away from her.
Yeah.
And she's going to do it. She's going to blow this grenade up because everybody's evacuated from the island now. If he blows this grenade up, the only people she's affecting are the Admiral and her guards.
And I thought that's where we were going. I thought she was going to throw it at the Admiral.
I did as well. This isn't where we were going.
No.
Because Nyland gets onto a helicopter.
She sort of gives him a nod. She gives him a
wink and an eye and he gets on a helicopter. So he flies
Save yourself.
Off.
Yeah.
Caroline gets to the edge of the helipad with still got the grenade. And then she says a line, and I can't remember what the line is. She says something. And she just jumps off this helipad.
Yeah.
And we see it from Nyland's perspective in the distance. The grenade obviously just blows her up, blows the virus up.
Yeah.
And the grenade destroys her and the virus is gone. And the film then ends with Caroline in the water with her daughter.
Reunited.
Yeah. And that is the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So, what did you think?
I think it's a good, solid action movie.
Yes.
I don't think it could stick the landing.
I think it's...
I wasn't expecting the whole basically, we get to the Death Star.
Yeah.
Because that's what everyone's dressed like.
Yeah, it is.
And, we've got to explode
This film started off by not telling us anything.
Yeah.
And then it goes too far with that because it doesn't ever tell us anything.
It suddenly went from being low key all the way through to this sort of
silly
evil empire
ending. I didn't like the ending at all. I did like the movie. I do think it lets itself down a little bit by not giving us any information, because I'm like you said earlier, we don't know which side we're on. That's fine. I'm happy. I don't mind that. But we don't know why this war's happening. We don't know how long it's been going on for. How was she a soldier before the war started? When she's in this car with her daughter, is she a soldier at that point, or has she become duty? She become? I don't know. You just don't know. She's suddenly this badass super soldier. Yeah. We don't know. We have
she joined since. I'd never even considered that.
We have no character development for any of the characters. We don't know anything about any of them. We don't know. The film doesn't give us enough information to care about these characters.
But that's by design.
That is 100% by design, but I don't think it quite worked. Yeah. I think they took it a little bit too far.
I think my overall feeling was just like that last 20 minutes or something else.
Yeah.
And I'd almost be like, if this film had ended when she's looking up and she sees the horses and you know she's completed a mission, I'd have been okay with that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure.
As soon as that...
Did I need the whole redemption and the last 20 minutes at this like Death Star bit? I don't know. It at times it felt like that was from another film.
It did. It felt like the ending of another film. That's true.
The start of this movie, when she gets to the base, is all sort of, you know, it's an old house with you know, they're trying to make the best of it. They've got maps on the walls and stuff, and then suddenly at the end we're in this Death Star. Maybe that, you know, we said there's no sci-fi in it. There's no advanced technology in it, but everyone is walking around dressed like they're in the Empire from Star Wars.
Yeah, it made me wonder. This base where they're at, there's a lot of equipment there. They've clearly got this. They've got about 18 helicopters, but they're supposed to be behind enemy lines in a hidden camp.
Yeah,
and I'm like, if they can get all this equipment there, why can't they get these two little capsules there?
Yeah.
That's what it made me think. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. This whole plot has been destroyed by
this secret base.
Secret base with all this technology, this secret massive lab,
which was
hundreds of people.
The secret base was proper like volcanic lair. Dr.
It
Evil.
was. It was on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
The helipad was literally built on the edge of a cliff. And I'm like, if you can get 18 massive helicopters that can hold 20, 50 people, why can't you get two little capsules there? Why not just put them on one of the helicopters? Why did these people have to skate for 100 miles over the sea?
As soon as you start thinking about the last 20 minutes of this,
the whole movie falls apart. It does, and it's a real shame. Because up until that point...
I had fun watching this movie.
Up until that point, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
The ending really lets it down.
It's tense. There's some really good scenes when they're trying to avoid the helicopters. When I thought the scene when they were met the old couple was great.
Yeah, it was.
My other criticism would be, I think it was far too predictable of like the pecking order of their little team of 6.
Yeah. They were cookie cutter soldier characters.
I would have been. I feel very confident in being able to say before this film, this is the order in which these characters will perish.
Yep.
And I think I would have been right.
Yeah, I think you're right. The captain went out literally as soon as they stepped on the ice. She fell through it.
Yeah,
it was like, well, she's gone very early. They were still within sight of the base, I think, when she died. Yeah, it's a real shame because there's a good idea here.
And
ice skating soldiers is a good movie concept.
Yeah,
it just the ending really, really ruins it.
Does it ruin it?
Yeah,
it's not satisfying.
It destroys the entire plot of the movie.
But positively speaking, Noomi Rapace is brilliant.
Fantastic.
She's a great lead in this movie. Yeah. She's so versatile, isn't she?
She can do anything. Like we said earlier, we've seen her 4 times on this show now. You wouldn't know.
She's a bona fide action lead in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's great.
She is great. She should get much more work and not just on bottom of the stream.
I don't think the volume of her work's a problem. She's always seems to be working.
She should just not be in bottom of the stream movies. Everybody's great in it, to be fair. There's nobody who's like, oh, he's terrible. But then the dub is so good that maybe that's what's making people seem good.
But I think it's like when I go back to sort of the deaths of someone, it's like we've just got to know Malik for 5 minutes. That's his section of the movie. Then he's dead. We just get to know Granvik for 5 minutes, and then he's dead. That's
same with Karimi, you can see the pattern. We never found out if Karimi's girlfriend, if the base had been destroyed or not,
or if that was a honey trap.
Yeah, we just don't know. We were not given anywhere near enough information to decide what side we were on in this movie, I guess. I don't know. And that is by design, but...
Do we want a bit more? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it was a little bit too far.
It's peaks and troughs, definitely, this movie, isn't it? Yeah.
What's the best thing about it?
It's either Rapace or it's... I mean, some of the set pieces are great.
Yeah.
I think there is stuff to like here. Her performance is great. Some of the cinematography is awesome, and it's just a really good idea for a movie.
Yeah, it is.
I think
it's ice skating soldiers.
Yeah.
What would you change about it?
I'm generally thinking in terms of achievable change. Given the greyness in this movie, if you'd have just stopped it 20 minutes earlier,
you literally just stop before she gets to the
I
base.
wouldn't have been unsatisfied with the ending of this movie being she's achieved that and these people have met her, and given that what little we know of the background of it beforehand, I don't see why that wouldn't have worked. I'm not saying that was the best way to do it, but...
No. The way you change this movie, you've got to scrap the entire ending and rewrite it. No, however you do that is what you
see. I'm doing the lazy version of that.
Yeah, you're just scrapping it and not rewriting.
Yeah, just stop it 20 minutes earlier.
Whatever you do, the ending of this movie almost destroys
the
this
ending
movie.
in your head.
The ending of this movie almost destroys it, and that shouldn't be allowed to happen. Because it's not even much. You'd have to look into it much to make the whole movie fall apart.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really deep diving into it, but anybody who watches it can see that this movie falls apart at the end.
Yeah.
It's like the end of The Lord of the Rings, where those eagles could have just took the ring there in the first place. Right, Stream Table.
I never watched that, but the third one, as we know. But, yeah.
Let's talk Stream Table. This is the 24th film going into this season's Stream Table.
Sure.
Shall we read through the whole thing?
I think we have to.
I think we do, don't we, at this stage? So currently at the bottom of the stream is Spaced Out at 22 is Buddy Games. 21 is Sextuplets. 20 is Nightwolf. 19, Here Are the Young Men. 18, Freaks, You're One of Us. 17 is Mercy. 16 is Sweet Girl. 15, Still Time. 14, Girlfriend's Day. 13, To the Bone. 12, Cadaver. 11, Paradise. The top 10 are Redemption of a Rogue at number 10. Catty Catty at 9. 8 is Don't Listen. Against the Ice is number 7. 6 is Convenience. 5 is The Humans. 4 is The Waterman. 3 is Warriors of Future. 2 is Hellhole. And 1 is Blood and Gold. Where does this film sit?
Do you know what? I think that in many other stream tables, seasons of this show, this movie finishes much higher.
Yes.
Because I do think there is a lot to like about this movie, but it is up against some tough competition in this table.
This table is strong. Really strong. I
think there might be a lot of time where this might be a top 10 movie.
Might be.
Might even be a top 5 movie, because there's a lot to like, and it is well done.
What was that Ice movie we watched last season with the prison truck?
Yes.
Dark something.
It's
similar to that.
And it's probably about comparable.
Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to see where that is on the stream table.
I think that did make the top 10 last season.
It did just.
But it's in this season.
Yeah, this is nowhere near the top 10 for this season.
And I have it somewhere around 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, I'm there somewhere.
In many ways, it's kind of fun, but silly, like Sweet Girl was.
Yeah.
And then I think you're into personal preference, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
So I will say 15th.
Just below Still Time and just above Sweet Girl.
That would put it at 16th. I was thinking just above Still Time.
Just above Still Time. Yeah, you're right. I can't do math. So just below Girlfriend's Day, just above Still Time.
Yeah. but I'm open to...
is a better movie than Still Time.
Yeah.
I'm confident in saying that. This is...
I don't think I want to see it above To the Bone or Cadaver.
No, it's somewhere either side of Girlfriend's Day, and I'm okay with either.
Okay.
Just below?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But it's a really good 15th best movie.
Yeah, it's a really good stream table. There's a lot of good stuff in this stream table. There's possibly 20 good movies in this stream table already. With that being said, we need to pick the season 9 season finale.
We do.
How exciting is that?
I'm very excited.
Robin's got his tux on. Everybody's excited.
It's the last chance for a movie to come in and steal top spot.
Knock blood and gold off top spot.
Yeah.
What would you like to see from your season 9 season finale?
I think I would like to be moved.
Okay. Moved to where?
Emotionally.
Emotionally moved?
Yes.
Okay, well then in that case, for the last time in season 9, I'm going to press Robin's button. Are you ready?
Yes.
Robin has picked us a movie called Crawl Space.
Okay.
Have you any idea what Crawl Space is, Nick?
I do a little bit, only because we might have mentioned it a while ago. It's a recent movie on Netflix.
It's recently come to Netflix for sure.
Okay.
It came out last year. I think it had a cinematic release in the US.
I feel like we may have mentioned it in one of the coming to Netflix.
Yeah, we did.
Next
I think
month
we did.
Bits on the wave.
It features. Well, let me tell you about it first. So it came out in 2022. It's 15. IMDb describes it as a thriller. Just the one genre this week.
Good.
It's currently rated at 4.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
Would you like a synopsis?
Yes, please.
After witnessing a brutal murder in a cabin, a man hides in a crawl space while the killers scour the property for a hidden fortune. As they draw nearer, he must decide if the crawl space will be his tomb or the battleground in the fight for his survival.
I mean, it sounds right up our street.
It does indeed. Would you like to know who's in it?
Yes, please.
Henry Thomas is the main star in this movie.
Oh, brilliant.
Henry Thomas, him off of E.T. and Mike Flanagan.
Yes.
Mike Flanagan is not involved, but which is unusual because I think Henry Thomas only works for Mike Flanagan these days.
It would seem so, yeah.
So yeah, a nice thriller to end the season on.
Okay, I can work with that.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
So yeah, go out and watch Crawl Space, and in the meantime, check us out on Instagram and on Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com, and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On there, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, all of our stream tables, loads of other cool stuff, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream.
Ice skates.
Nice. After you've done all of that, head over to Patreon. On the Patreon, you will find patreon.com/bottomofthestream. On there, for £5 every month, you will get early access to episodes. You will get bonus episodes. And for the most important feature is you will get a wild card, which means you can give Robin the week off, pick a movie, we will watch it, we will do an episode on it, and then if you pick the best one of the season, you will win a prize. And then when you've done that, head over to Discord. The Discord is a wonderful group full of wonderful people who will literally talk to you about any old thing. You can get involved in the real talks. We do watch-alongs. We must have a Christmas watch-along coming up soon. Yeah, the Discord's just a wonderful place. The Discord link is in the bottom of the show notes.
It sure is. If you can spare us a few minutes, please consider leaving us a rating or a review anywhere you review or rate podcasts. It really helps. It helps get more eyes and ears on our podcast. And that means we might get more people in the Discord. And that means we might make more friends. And
that's what we're here for.
Spread the word of these films, which are sometimes good.
And sometimes good. Because this season... It's been a lot more good than bad.
There has.
So yeah, do all of that. Go out and watch Crawl Space. And then we will be back on Monday for The Wave and next Thursday for the season finale.
Cheers.
Bye.